Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome. Please pay attention to the following announcement from your streaming host. International streaming rules and regulations require me to provide the following information. I am on the Xbox Series S. I have the deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We will be flying the Junkers 52 3M-Retrofit departing from Cairo and heading to Gora. I am not taking requests for flights or aircraft. I fly the sim the way I want to. My schedule is created well in advance, meaning that I spend time finding interesting places to fly, as well as flying aircraft that I am confident work in the sim. My streaming schedule is subject to change based on my own real-life schedule. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are vintage aviation flights. Tuesdays are jetliner regional jet and regional prop flights. Saturdays are flights featuring the P-38 Lightning called Lightning Saturdays, and Sundays we have scenic flights. Any other information can be found in the description area below the video. Thank you for your attention. Alright, so we got so this first leg is going to be about 136 nautical miles. That's going to be the brunt of our trip today. Good morning, Jody. How are you? And then we're just going to make a quick turn from this airport here. And then we're going to land right there. So it should be a fairly straightforward flight. Matter of fact, I meant to do this before I started. I should have changed the weather just to be safe. So we have a nice clear flight. As soon as I can find it. Sunny skies, where are you? Clear skies. There we are. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks, Jody. Doing good. Alright, let's go in here and get things started up. So we can get on our way to... This is leg 10. Good morning, Amela. Leg 10 of our 32-leg flight to... Our 32-leg trip to Indonesia, the former Dutch East Indies. And speaking of Indonesia, as I understand it, I just heard that the first Indonesian driver ever in the World Endurance Championship scored a victory over the weekend. So congratulations. Sean, I know his first name's Sean, I don't remember his last name, so forgive me for not. But yeah, I just saw that on YouTube. All right. Get the engine started up here. Let's dial in our VOR 11360. There we go. There's that all done. That should be a very... Try to pick an area where it was going to be easy for us to taxi to. And our yes, Amela, I had what did I have last night? I know I snacked. I didn't really eat dinner because I was helping Jody on the farm. So I just kind of snacked last night. Nothing major. Sorry, I know you're looking for something more exciting than I just snacked, but that's what I did. start it up. I totally forgot to change our fuel. There we go. That should get us more than enough to get us there. Good morning, Mick. How are you, good sir? Nice to see you here. All right. To the east.
Ground jumpers Delta, Charlie Delta Lima Hotel, and Sierra request taxis for takeoff east departure.
Jumpers Delta, Charlie Delta Lima Hotel, taxi to and hold short runway 23 center using taxiway Sierra Tango. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 23 center using taxiway Sierra Tango jumpers Delta Lima Hotel.
All right, I think, let's see if we do have a, okay. We're gonna kind of, all right, we are on our way, so we will get in the air momentarily. I was tinkering around on FS22 this morning, just kind of getting used to the new. Well, it's not so much that it's new. It's just a little different from FS19. You know, getting used to the menus and all the additional things now. I tried to pick a runway. Now, I thought I picked a runway right near where we were going to take off, but of course it's got its own agenda, it seems. Yeah, just, well, I went back on the farm that, you know, I started up yesterday before, you know, I was waiting for you and Adam and eventually Para to be ready to farm. So I just was, you know, just tinkering around, nothing too major, just getting some stuff sold and, you know, that sort of stuff. Tomorrow we will be in the F-16. We'll be flying the two-seater version from Randolph Air Force Base near San Antonio. We'll be back on the farm at some point. Nice. Yeah, I was enjoying, you know, just kind of, you know, I hadn't farmed in a while, you know, on Farm Sim. I hadn't been on Farm Sim 19 in some time, and, you know, there are some changes that in FS22 that I need to, you know, be aware of and all that. So, but no, it's fine. I enjoyed it. Mick knows that I have it now, and if he needs help in the future, I'm more than happy to give him a hand. Okay, this was the fastest. Okay, we are going to take off over here, I think. This looks like an extension of the taxiway. It almost looks like a roadway. There's sidewalks or something on each side. Oh, I mean, I know. It's not that I need to be taught, Jody. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that. There may be questions or things that may come up that because the sim is kind of revamped in a way. If there's anything that I need to ask, I'd be more than happy to ask questions if I feel like I'm stuck somewhere. But no, it's just that I needed to get comfortable with it again. What? Wow. I'm not even going to say your name, and I'm deeply offended by that, actually. So, wow, it didn't take long, did it? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But thank you for coming in and sharing your opinion, which is, you're entitled to it, but that's all good. Thank you, though. But you've been shown the door, so good luck. Go be miserable somewhere else. Unbelievable. I thought we already got through all this crap yesterday. But yeah, it's just more that I need to get used to driving, like I was telling you last night, Jody. I feel like I gotten used to driving, moving the aircraft on the field, and then I was trying to do all that with the same thought process when I was trying to drive the tractor, and it was like, why isn't this working? I'm like, oh yeah, because the triggers are for the throttles and the brakes, not steering.
Get runway 23 center departure to the east.
Jumpers Delta, Charlie Delta Lima Hotel altimeter, 29.9, 21265 entry.
Perfect. Mick or somebody, can you handle this? Because I really need to be focusing on what I'm doing here, not... I mean, if somebody can take care of these knuckleheads. And RoGov, I know that's like your backup account, because I remember you from yesterday, so... Congratulations. I mean, I guess you just keep changing things slightly so YouTube doesn't know that you're creating fake accounts because you got nothing better to do with your time. So, that's okay, Mick. I thought we'd gotten through all this yesterday, but apparently some folks they're back with their backup accounts to be malicious, so because they got nothing better to do with their time. And Roe and the other person, you are being reported for harassment. So, and I know it doesn't matter to you, but I'm just letting you know now that you're being reported. So, I know you got nothing better to do with your time, and you think it's funny that you get. That's what your life is centered on. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I really wanted to take off the other way. That's all right. That's what I thought. Away we go. Wow, okay. I'm not even because now you're using my name directly. So now this has become a targeted campaign because you're pathetic. So I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, and you're gonna get dealt with eventually. I'm gonna make it my personal mission to ruin you. I'm gonna make it my personal mission to ruin you. I'm gonna find out who you are, and you're going to be ruined. I'm gonna make it my mission now. Because now you are targeting me directly. Hello, James. You just messed with the wrong person. I am going to make it my mission today. I assure you. I'm going to spend the rest of the day and the rest of this week. I'm going to find out who you are, and I'm going to make sure that you are arrested for harassment because you're bullying now. You've entered that realm of bullying. So I know you think it's funny, and you're probably sitting there laughing your butt off. I'm fine. It's just that we've had some people come in who are acting disrespectful in the chat. So this is day 2 of it. So I'm gonna find out who they are, and I'm gonna have them arrested. Oh, they're already been dealt with, Jody. It's fine. They've already been removed. But it's just that they've been using my name now. So they but I'm gonna find out who they are, and they're going to get arrested. I'm gonna make it my mission today now. Hello, Joseph. Because no amount of porting to YouTube is changing anything. I'm going to write a letter to YouTube, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to show them the screenshots. and I'm gonna report you to the authorities as well. I'll report you to every authority I can think of. I'll report you to Interpol, frickin' FBI, the whole frickin' lot. So. It's a continuation from yesterday, Addies. That's all. That's all it is. It's just a continuation from yesterday. I thought we had dealt with this yesterday, but apparently people are they have backup accounts because there's at least one that I recognize from yesterday. So, but I'm going to deal with them. They're going to get there. I'm going to file a report. I'm going to send a rather lengthy email to YouTube about this with all the evidence, and then I'm going to alert the authorities as well, because this is cyberbullying, and that is a serious crime. You may think that it's a joke, but it's not. So. And I don't care what your age is. I'm gonna make sure your life is ruined. I'm just letting you know. You barked up the wrong tree today. So go ahead and have your laughs now, but I can assure you, I'm gonna make it my mission. You are done as a person. You won't even know how I'm gonna dehumanize you. Because you could have just had your laughs yesterday, but you wanted to come back today and go for another round. That's all good. Because you got nothing better to do with your time than go into people's chats. Because you don't do your own streams. I know you don't have your own channels. You don't have any content. Because you're a coward. That's at the end of the day, that's what you are. You're a coward. If anybody did the same thing to you, you'd be crying. You'd be so pissed off. Upset that people are bullying you. So, you got my attention now. And you don't want that. I will use every legal means necessary to ruin you now. We gotta get a little closer. Anyway, now that we've got that out the way, I know they don't, Joseph. That's okay. They're definitely not gonna have a life after I'm done with them. And like I said, I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're not even a teenager yet. I'm gonna make sure you get ruined. You could have left well enough alone, but you decided not to. I want to keep on keeping on. I know that probably bothers you, but that's okay. Oh, they're not going to ruin it. No, they're not, Jody. I can assure you. Nope. But since they wanted to go round 2, we're not even going to get to round 3. So as soon as I wrap this flight up today, I am going to start compiling the evidence. I'm going to ensure that YouTube is aware of it, that you're violating their terms of service. And I will let the authorities know about it as well. So alright, we are now on our way to our first and only waypoint, now that we finally got heading in the right direction here. In fact, I am suspicious, quite honestly, of this person. So I think they have their quote-unquote main accounts to come in and check the level of harassment, what the result is. So anyways, alright, so we are on our way to Gora. I believe this was an actual, let me pull up the list here. So, yes. Okay. The airport that they went to in Gaza, I think. Whatever one they flew to doesn't exist anymore. This was the closest that I could find that was near Max. Does this thing... It's an app. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Max. Would you like to explain a little bit more, please? And I can maybe answer your question better. I'm not sure which... What do you mean by an app? Or what thing are you talking about specifically? So I think when I was researching this route, that's Gora, or the Gaza airport that they had flown into in the 1930s is no longer there. So no, it does not have an autopilot. Max, no, it does not. There's a rudimentary autopilot system on the Junkers 52. This is the retrofit that has all the a little bit more modern navigation aids equipment in it. But no, there's no No autopilot. What I basically do is once I just try to trim the plane out so that it will stay level, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It's, you know, you have to kind of pay attention and watch your altitudes and everything. So, but no, it does not. What, Joseph? You were asking a question, Joseph, and then you changed your... How do you find... it's fine, Joseph. It's fine. I like it. I mean, I am a bit shocked, to be honest, that they put it on Game Pass. I was expecting that maybe much later in the life of the sim, of the game, whatever you want to call it. But it's fine. It's, you know, it's definitely different. I think in a lot of good ways it's different from FS19. Graphically, it's much better. And I think it's because it's really made for the next gen consoles. I mean, I like it. It's... but I can see, I think it is definitely geared more towards a multiplayer sort of experience. You know, if you can have more people helping you, you can get a lot more done, you know, that sort of thing. The only drawback is, when I was helping Jody last night on her farm, the more people you have, though, the more money you're spending even leasing equipment. And you can run out of, you know, you can be left with very little money, and then it takes a while for you to start making the money back. So, sorry, Ryson, well, yeah, well, I'm loaded with fuel first off, and we're using fuel the entire trip, so it's a bit tricky. But the trick is I'm using the standard controller, and thank you, Ryson, for the follow, and Max also for the follow. So it's just, but I mean, there's times that the trim is even a higher percentage, and that's, you know, as the weight of the plane changes as we use fuel, then that's when the trim will change as well. But it's not a difficult plane to fly. It's just that you got to really kind of keep an eye on things. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't even do the picture from last night. Yeah, and that's, I think, the tricky part, Jody, is that even with 4 of us, you know, you have to lease equipment. To get things done, you're still spending money. And then it takes a while for you to make that money back. So... I think for tomorrow's flight, what I may do, just to... We're gonna change things up a little bit for tomorrow, but we'll talk about that. I will let everybody know. You'll know, we'll talk about it offline. I'll let my mods know and all that. So we're gonna make a change for tomorrow's stream. We'll have a quasi boardroom meeting there, Mick. But yeah, this is not such a bad plane to fly. It looks like it's complicated, but it's really not. Once you kind of get comfortable with it, it's not too bad. Okay, so we're just not close enough to it. We're just kind of cruising along here. Yeah, I got so wrapped up in other things yesterday. I think I forgot to put the picture of yesterday's picture on. Yep, I sure did. I really liked yesterday's flight. That was nice. The weather was really interesting, I think. I knew I forgot something yesterday. Hello, Wallach. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Welcome to the stream. In the Junkers 52 heading, we are on leg 10 of our 32 leg trip to Indonesia. We're heading to El Gora, Egypt, from Cairo. Once we land in El Gora, we will be wrapping the stream up for today. Just so that you're aware, I am on the Xbox Series S. I have the deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I am not taking requests for flights or for me to fly particular aircraft. My schedule is created well in advance, meaning that I spend time finding interesting places to fly, as well as flying aircraft that I know will work fairly well in the sim. And my streaming schedule is subject to change based on my own schedule. I'm trying to cover all the usual questions that I get from folks in the chat. We do a lot of theme flights. Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays we do vintage aviation. Mondays and Wednesdays specifically, we are working on this 32-leg trip to Indonesia. Fridays, it's just other vintage sort of planes that we fly. This Friday we'll be in the Cessna 170B as in Bravo. A little VFR flight in Florida. Tuesdays we fly jetliners, regional jets. The 170, 175 series is better than it was before. They fixed things from the sim update, world update 9 and all that, so I think it's back to flying status. And we also do regional prop flights or regional freight, notional kind of stuff with the 208B, the Kodiak 100, stuff like that. Saturdays we do flights in the P-38 Lightning, and Sundays we have scenic flights. This Sunday, though, there will be no stream, no trains, no flying, taking the day off. So, I want everybody to enjoy the flights, the stuff that I put together. Got a schedule already created for most of June. But all that, of course, whenever there's updates to the sim, I have to check things to make sure that the updates have not ruined the sim in any way, or an aircraft unexpectedly is unflyable. All right, we finally picked up our EOR DME. 96 nautical miles to go. So the range of that is not for the entire 136 nautical miles. So at least now we've picked that up and we know how much more we have to go. Oh, I meant to do this earlier. Totally forgot. I think, like, these splotches, that when they took the aerial photos of this area, there must have been some cloud cover, so it looks like there's these that's kind of weird, but certainly adds something different to the landscape. So we'll kind of do a tour around the aircraft. So it's a tri-motor. That's the 3Ms. That's what the 3M stands for, I should say. Nice brushed or bare metal, except the only thing that's not that's painted, of course, is the walkway. Now they say this is the passenger door, which I find that seems more like an emergency escape door, because you would kind of go down the wing there to exit the aircraft. I think the regular passenger door is this one back here. So this route that we're flying is a former KLM route that I researched after, or while I was finishing a historical route for Deutsche Lufthansa, which is the precursor in name only to Lufthansa Airlines. The Lufthansa today only shares a name. They don't have any kind of other ties to Deutsche Lufthansa, which was basically operated under the Third Reich. When they had branched out, like they were in South America, and they would also fly before World War II really started. They were even flying into London. The pilots who were flying for Deutsche Lufthansa were essentially spies for the Third Reich. I didn't know that. I was reading a little bit of the history of the Junkers 52 and Deutsche Lufthansa. So they were very observant what they could see as they were coming in for landing or anything else, and nobody thought anything of it. Nobody was suspicious. It was an airline service, but they were essentially spying for the Third Reich. So a week from today, our next leg, we're going to take off from El Gora, and we're going to head to Aruba in Iraq. It's going to be it's probably going to be a very long flight. There's no navigation aids whatsoever. There's no VORs or anything I can tune in. Essentially, the only thing I'm going to be able to use is this, and that's pretty much it. And I know that some people might say that's cheating, but I'm not experienced enough in navigating without that to a point that I would feel like it would. I think it would just take way longer than necessary in the stream. So we're going to use some in-sim measures to help us navigate there. The airport where we're landing at technically does not exist in any way that I can look up the information and try to get an idea which way we need to head. I know the runway we're going to land on is runway 6. Make sure. Yeah. So we have to basically, if we didn't have this little VFR map, we would basically want to try to keep on a heading of 060 and for however long until we ran in, we found our airport. But so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a interesting. It's going to be probably very barren. Not going to be a lot of scenery, I don't think. At least not that I can imagine. I don't know, but we'll see when we get, as we get along in the flight. I think I have it estimated to be about a 3.5 hour flight. I think that was my estimate. Look at the notes. Nope, about 4 hours. But hopefully it won't take the whole 4 hours. But it's gonna be a bit of a long one next week. Monday we're doing a Memorial Day flight in the F-14B model with the VX-9 liveried aircraft, all black with the white Playboy bunny on the back tail. Departing from Hunter Army Airfield and heading to Joint Base Andrews near Washington, D.C. as with all things like that, if I ask that you be respectful. It's Memorial Day. If you know somebody who served and gave their life in service, we can spend time. We will have a moment of silence beforehand. Anybody that you want to remember, you're more than welcome to have that join in with the moment of silence before we take off. Or if you had a loved one who served and died recently from other causes, we can remember them as well. Alright, we have 79 nautical miles to go. Make a really good time, I think. We may have a little bit of a story time on Monday. I will share a story with somebody that I know that passed away during one of my deployments that I still his death really I every Memorial Day I think about what do you tick to get the info at the bottom of your screen. At the bottom of my screen. You talk about this view or the other view, Bryson? Which one? Because this is like the right. If I minimize the VFR mapper, I do away with that. Okay, so you mean like the engine and the airspeed and all that. This is the minimal view of information that you can have. Like this is the full view, right? This is even more, the information is much more there's more information to see. This is the very bare bones, so you have your airspeed, your engine RPMs, the amount of fuel that you have left, your angle of attack and all that. So there's a setting in the set menu that you can change that, or you can have it completely gone. You can have nothing, just what I guess you would call a regular view without any of that information. What I see a lot of simmers do on the PC side, they don't have this open, but they have at the top of their screen, they have a bar that basically shows their airspeed, their heading, their altitude, that sort of stuff. And I think they use like an app or a website for that. I'm not sure. I'll have to try to ask Captain Arish tonight, or maybe I'll message him later on the Discord to see. But they have if you watch them, it's on their stream up in the upper corner, up along here. You'll see like it's a bar with that information. But some pilots, they're checking their gauges the entire time as well. I try to do that, but I like to have this information here easier for me to see, so that if it feels like we're getting too far off course or anything like that, I can deal with it. So, thank you for your question. But originally I was flying like what you see out here inside the cockpit or the flight deck. But I went with this because it's a little bit, I can still see all that information, but it's not like in the way. Too new to watch the gauges, like, yeah, and that's okay. You know, it's just it just takes practice, and you know. But the thing about any sim, right, is, and this goes back to even when I used to play Train Sim World 2 on a regular basis. A lot of people want you to do it as realistic as possible, right? They don't want you to use anything other than the gauges and stuff like that. But for some folks, that it's a bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to the flight sim. So fly how you want to fly, and then, like, I'll be okay. Like VOR flying, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know anything about it. And somebody I follow on Twitch, Captain Arish, he's amazing. If you have questions about any of that stuff, he'll keep trying to explain it to you and keep working with you and say, well, think about it like this or whatever. Because he wants you to enjoy the different aspects of flying. And not just you take off, you hit autopilot, and off you go. So it took me a while, but I learned about VOR flying and what it all really is, because I had no clue. So it just, you know, it took me a while, but now that I'm comfortable with it, I'm like, oh, it's not that difficult. We always tend to make things more difficult because it's something different. It's something that we're not used to. So we overthink it, overcomplicate it. So, but yeah, just fly how you want to fly until you are comfortable that you know, so. And there's nothing wrong with that, racing. One of the things that I was told early on, you know, before you really get too far into flying, just take off and land. Just do circuits. Take off, come back around and land. Just keep doing that until you get comfortable, because you have to get comfortable with the controls, and then you also have to realize that every aircraft is going to be different when you land. You know, when you start in the Cessna 152, how it's going to land is different than this one. I mean, the concepts are still the same. It's just that they're different size aircraft. And the 152 has the high wing, where this has a low wing and 3 motors. So, but you know, just progress how you see fit. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Don't let anybody try to pressure you into doing doing more than you want to when you fly. Just fly the way you want. That's all on you, not anybody else. It's your experience, not theirs. And some people are comfortable with doing things as realistically as possible. But that's their choice. And that's okay. You know, like I always flew with unlimited fuel on, and now I've tried to make it where I fly we use fuel. I just completely tank up and we fly. And then eventually we're going to have the possible failures and things like that, you know, we're taking steps at a time, you know, and that's the important thing. But it's difficult as a streamer, because you're trying to concentrate on what's happening here. You're looking at the chats, trying to interact with the folks in the chat as well. 63 nautical miles to our waypoint. But it's easy to get overwhelmed because there's times when stuff will happen. It's like, what's going on here? Why is the plane acting like this? And so then you're trying to figure it out, and then the chat's blowing up at the same time because suddenly everybody's an expert. Wow, look at these sand dunes. Wow, they really captured this pretty well, I think. We're over a sea of sand right now, that's for sure. I mean, look at it. It seems like there are waves, doesn't it? You know, like these parts are like the crest of the waves. This is really amazing. And the winds are like the tides, I guess. Just they shift this whichever way they want to blow. There's so much to learn and the possibility to do so much in the sim I haven't even... Yes, that is true. And you're right. There is a lot to do. There's a lot to learn. It, you know... yeah, there definitely is. And that's the great thing, you know. There's so much to see and so much to do. There's so many different types of planes to fly that it's like you just don't feel like there's enough time ever to really experience everything. And that's, you know, initially I was doing a lot of flights in the A320, and then it was like, but I'm missing all these other things, and so now that's why I kind of have a theme for my schedule, you know, for flying, to try to break things up so it's not just the same, you know, we're not just flying the same aircraft 6 days a week or whatever, you know, because that gets a little boring after a while. You know, not that I don't like flying the A320, it's amazing, but it's, once you, I mean, it's fairly simple once you know what to do. So it's not much of a challenge, really. But this is a bit more because there's not really there's no autopilot system. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing. Oh, no wonder it's supposed to be 016. I read that wrong. Alright, we have 55 nautical miles to go. I will be lurking, just had a grocery order dropped off. Oh, no worries. No worries at all. Lurk away. Do what you gotta do, it's all good. This is the kind of interaction I like. You know what I didn't do? I didn't tell everybody to buckle up. Stop smoking. look at this is some amazing scene, I think. In fact, you know what? We gotta get a picture of that as well. I think I'm going to take a quick break, folks. I'll be right back. I will... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted that one. Alright, so I'm just going to put us out here for right now. So enjoy the sounds and the scenery. Matter of fact, we're going to even do this. Minimize that. Okay. There you go. I'll be right back, folks. Alright, I'm back. Let's see how we're doing on our line here. Oh, not too bad. So what I think I'm going to do once we get to our nav point there, which is near another airport, we're only going to be 16 nautical miles away from the El Gora airport. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them know we're coming in, and we'll drop some altitude. We'll start dropping altitude and dropping our speed, and then we're going to just go straight on in. We're not going to do the circuit or whatever. We're just going to bring it right on in. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Thank you for the 4 thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the 5 viewers over on Twitch. Nice to have you along. We will be back tomorrow in the F-16D model, Delta model, the 2-seater. We are departing from Randolph Air Force Base and heading to Edwards Air Force Base. So, Texas to California. Shouldn't take very long to do. We'll get up in the air and make our way. We'll be on the ground in Edwards before we know it. Practice a few startups last night just to make sure I knew how to start the plane up. Hello, Chris. How are you? Nice to see you here. Did Melo say goodbye? I wonder if Melo left and I just missed. I was just thinking about that. Normally, Melo, this is about the time I think Melo would go to work. Yeah, you missed it earlier, Chris. We had round 2 of what was happening yesterday. Yeah, tomorrow F-16 Delta, the 2-seater model, 7:30 Eastern, 11:30 UTC. 12:30 UK. We will fire up the F-16 and we will make our way to Edwards Air Force Base from Randolph. Would have been here earlier but lost track. Oh, that's fine. It's no worries at all. I lost track of time this morning once I got up and I was tinkering around in Farm Sim 22. Next thing I look up and I'm like, oh, I gotta get things going for the flight. Mr. Addies. We're almost there. We're getting there. Yeah, this is some really interesting scenery, I think. It's like it is a road, I guess a highway. Wow. Well, I hope your car has good AC if you're driving through here in a car. If not, you might be in trouble. Yeah, certainly some very unique scenery today. Oh. Well, that might be... Well, come on. You know, Chris, you know Mr. Addies. He knows he's tired. He should go to bed early or at a reasonable time, but he gets on his phone and spends probably 90% of his time looking at his phone. And we should just leave it alone. No, you was up pretty late watching us farm last night, Mr. Addies. Come on now. Oh. Boy, my eyes are playing tricks on me today. All right. Let's see how much farther we got to go. 32 nautical miles to our waypoint. I think we're going to get there fairly reasonable amount of time. I mean, we've been streaming for about an hour 20, but I think the flight's going to be a lot less than that. Oh no, you're fine, Chris. Yeah. I just would rather have a backup in case Mick has to attend to other duties. So, no, I trust you. It's better to have a backup in place already. Just to be on the safe side. So El Arish, that's the airport that we're going to fly over going to El Gora. Put on my backup outfit. No, it's not ladies' clothes before you. Well, thanks for clarifying that, Chris. I'm sure now Mr. Addies is probably spit out whatever he's drinking when he read that. Made a mess of himself. Well, because I know Bex is only usually here on the weekends. Sporadically. Amela's here for a short while. You only need to put your boots on. Yeah, that's how Mick does it. Amela's only here for a short while in the morning usually because he's got to go to work. So Mick might get pulled into other duties. So it's better to have another backup in place just in case. But it's interesting that the harassment in YouTube is ratcheted up again. Like for a while it was, it had kind of dissipated a bit, I guess, in a way. I'm back. That's take 5 minutes to store. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it seemed like things had finally calmed down, but now it's it's intensified. I'm happy to help. If it's with that meanie Mickey Pooh. Well, you know, it's not that he's mean, Chris. It's his tough love. That's all. Yeah, dad duty. Yeah, exactly. Like police. Well, I guess in a way. Just, you know, it's unfortunate that that's necessary. Unfortunately, now for people who make content on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, that you have to have people that minimize or deal with the unpleasant people who come in that they're there to do nothing but cause problems in the chat. Just try to get more people involved, Chris. That's all. Yeah. No. Mick is. I think Mick is the master of tough love. Both he and I have tried that both with Mr. Addies, and so far Mr. Addies has resisted the tough love. Truncheon. I don't think I've ever met somebody so resistant to tough love than Mr. Addies. Seven viewers over on Twitch. Thank you all for coming in. We are in the Junkers 52. We departed from Cairo. And we are heading to El Gora in Egypt. This is leg 10 of our 32-leg flight to former Dutch East Indies, now known as Indonesia. No, this was a KLM route that started in Amsterdam. It normally took them about a week to complete the flight from start to finish, but because I cannot do 3 or 4 flights in one day, 3 or 4 legs in one sitting, I've broken it up, and so we ended up with 32. Individual legs for the flight. Tomorrow we will be in the F-16 2-seater model, going from Randolph Air Force Base to Edwards Air Force Base for our military aviation Thursday flight. Hello, Adam. I am well, thank you. How are you? We had another rocky start to the morning, but things have calmed down now. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. Nice to see you here. We are 20 nautical miles from our only major waypoint on this flight, somewhere out there in the distance ahead of us. It's an airport. Once we find that, once we get a little bit closer, I'm going to call in and ask for landing clearance at our destination. We will start preparing for that. Jody's still here. So the next leg of this flight will be on, leg 11 will be on the 1st of June. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly? I believe so. Yes, the 1st of June. El Gora to Arupa South Airport. Lots of desert scenery, I'm sure. 9 Gaming Studio is here as well. Welcome. Didn't know that you were here. Thank you for telling me. So we are going to be wrapping things up pretty soon. Once we get on the ground there in El Gora and we park it, we'll wrap the stream up for today. What I'm going to try to do, just so that we're going to go through the cabin here, the passenger area, and I'm going to open that. There's that door right back here. I think that's the true passenger door. I think this is an emergency exit right there. I don't think any passenger would ever want to try to get on the plane by walking up the wing or get off the plane by walking down the wing. Well, it's not bad. It just takes some practice. The cool thing is that there's a whole, like, almost like a flight school basically, and you can do that as often as you want. You just keep practicing and improving. Or once you do all that, or what I usually would recommend if you don't want to do the in-game flight school, right? Just pick the Cessna 152, which is what you would start with in the flight school anyway, and just I want to play, but I need to pay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Making night gaming. I don't know why my eyes are acting up today. Just fly around in the 152. Just pick an airport and just take off and land and practice with that. It took, I mean, Mick will tell you, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at now, and even I still make mistakes with just the standard controller. I would like to get the Velocity 1 yoke and throttle. It's the most reasonably priced one. So if I had that, I would be using that, but financially I can't afford it right now. If somebody were to donate enough money for me to get it, I would greatly appreciate that, but I know lots of people, money is tight for a lot of folks. But it would be amazing to actually be able to fly with the yoke and throttle versus just the standard Xbox controller. But we do okay with it. It just takes a little practice, that's all. Whatever that means. Alright, 12 nautical miles to our only VOR DME. I'm going to turn towards the airport. And we'll be getting ready to land. Matter of fact, I probably should. Yes, 9 Gaming Studio. It's a pain in the start, but yeah. What is your question, 9 Gaming Studio? Alright, let's see if El Gora should be on our list now, I believe. Yep, there it is. We are heading to El Gora. We took off from Cairo. We're heading to El Gora. Once we land in El Gora, we will be ending the stream for today. We are in Egypt. Next week, we will be going from Egypt into Iraq. The final destination is Indonesia, former Dutch East Indies. This is a vintage KLM route from Amsterdam to the former Dutch East Indies. I don't know that. I'm not sure that anybody, because it's more of like flying with a controller. It's just your own personal feel to it. Like, you know, you have to get used to how the plane operates with. It's the Junkers 52. It is a 1930s German-built plane that was in service in Germany and a few other places around the world before World War II really started, and then it did serve for a while after World War II, and then they were eventually scrapped. Right, we should be able to see our airport here pretty soon. That is our nav point. We've flown this plane numerous times. I know I've flown it. You've been in the stream when I've flown it. Not in the gaming studio. This is the retrofit version, meaning it has a bit more modern navigation systems. Assuming they have, so if you get the, if you, on Game Pass, if you get the standard edition, I think you get the Airbus. There is a 747 and a 787 as well, but you have to, I think, get the higher, like the deluxe version, you get more stuff, but then you're paying for that. I would start with the standard edition, the free one that's on Game Pass. Just fly and see how you like it that way. Kind of like what Jody was saying last night with Farming Sim. Fly with it for a while, get used to it, and then that way you know that you it's something that you really want to do. And then you can decide to add other things later on. But I think on the standard, I think you get, if you scroll down, Adam, there should be a link that shows what you get with each edition of Flight Sim. So it should say standard, premium, deluxe, and deluxe, and it'll tell you what you get with each one. But I think the A320 comes with the standard. I think. But that's the Asobo version of the A320. Alright, we gotta... Well, it's the standard stuff. I mean, it's mainly your navigation and your FMS sort of stuff. There's a few things that, you know, are not usable for various reasons. It's just they only put in what they know you will need to fly, essentially. We're almost there. Night Game Studio. We are getting ready to land. Now, as always, folks, as we come in for landing, I am going to get ready to move the laptop to the side. I will catch up with the chat once we are on the ground so I don't get distracted. Turn that off. There we go. Do appreciate everybody coming in today and hanging out. Hopefully you've enjoyed the flight. We'll be back tomorrow. The two-seater F-16, Randolph Air Force Base to Edwards Air Force Base. My glasses want to... It's like they got a mind of their own all of a sudden. Some really interesting scenery here today. Next week when we take off out of here, it's going to be just as interesting, I believe, all the way to Aruba. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that. Ooh, my stomach's rumbling. I need to eat something after this. guessing this has got the same time as Cairo. All right. Oops. Okay, we're almost there. A little bump, but not too bad. There we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, I'd like to welcome you to El Gora, Egypt. Local time is 15:19 in the afternoon. We understand and appreciate the fact that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream viewing pleasures, and we're glad that you flew with us today. Do join us tomorrow in the two-seater F-16 departing from Randolph Air Force Base, San Antonio, Texas, heading to Edwards Air Force Base, California. 7:30 Eastern, 11:30 UTC, 12:30 UK. I don't think that's based on... no. I don't think so either. Adam, sorry. I'm just catching up with the chat now. Viewed Histria. We just landed here in Gora. We are getting ready to wrap things up for the day. Once we park the aircraft here. We'll be back tomorrow in the F-16. And we're going right to the field pad, it looks like. Yep. Thank you, Joseph. Do appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out today. Thank you for the 5 thumbs up. Thank you for the viewers over on Twitch. Thank you for the new followers over on Twitch. Appreciate it. Somebody's trying to block our way here. I don't think this is really... I think this is an air base, not an airport, but it was the closest place I could find that was near where KLM landed at back in the 1930s. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The landing. I thought for sure we were going to bounce the plane, but we didn't. Oh, let's get that out of the way. And let's go back in here. I will do this. Get these engines shut down. I'm going to show you the passenger cabin. Thank you, Joseph. All right, so we're going to go through here like this. There's a passenger door. And I think this is the... Can we go through there? No, we cannot. But there is a water closet, a toilet, whatever you want to call it, behind here, because if you look out here, well, we can't go out that way. Hold on a second. Out here, there's that window, and I think that's where the toilet is there in the back of the aircraft. So let's get back in here. We shut off our batteries, and then that should wrap things up. 1, 2, there we go. Hour 29, so we've definitely made really good time today on that flight. I think we had a tailwind that kind of helped push us along because we were going a little bit faster than I think we normally would have. So hopefully we're going to have... in some of the aircraft it does have something like that, Adam. I don't think this one does. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but normally, yeah, there would be like something else that you could click on that would show like a ladder of some kind and whatnot. So yeah, so hopefully Wednesday when we continue our journey, we will have good winds and we will get to our destination there and our route a little bit quicker than 4 hours. Anyway, that will do it for today, folks. I do appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out. Thank you for the 5 thumbs up. Thank you for the viewers over on Twitch and the new followers, Max and Ryson. Hopefully you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. Until then, peace, live long and prosper. Did I say, yeah, Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. Some people might be already early.